All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into a massive showdown in one of the world's biggest digital asset markets, Brazil. You've got the government squaring off against a booming crypto sector, and it all boils down to one thing: taxes.
And that really is the question at the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? On one side, you have a government looking for new ways to bring in revenue. But on the other, you have this thriving industry that's worried this exact move could stop it dead in its tracks. Okay, so let's get into the specifics here. The whole fight is about a proposal to take an existing tax on financial transactions and slap it onto stablecoins. And, well, the industry is not having it. We're talking about a huge coalition representing over 850 companies, and they are sounding the alarm loud and clear.
But to really get why this is such a powder keg and why 850 companies are so fired up, you first have to understand just how huge Brazil's digital asset economy is. I mean, this is not some tiny niche market. We're talking about a major financial force.
So just how big are we talking? Well, the numbers, they might actually surprise you. This isn't just a handful of tech enthusiasts. It's a significant slice of the population that's super active in a massive, fast-moving market. Let's take a look at the data.
Okay, get this. The user base alone, we're talking an estimated 25 million people in Brazil participating in the crypto world. That's more than the entire population of a lot of countries. And they're all actively involved in this space.
And these folks, they're not just dipping their toes in. This market is moving anywhere from $6 to $8 billion in transaction volume every single month. That is a truly colossal amount of money flowing through these digital networks.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Look at where all that money is going. A whopping 90%, you heard that right, 90% of all that massive monthly volume is in stablecoins. So this isn't mainly about people speculating on Bitcoin or Ether. It's about the everyday use of dollar-pegged assets.
So, why the big focus on stablecoins? Well, this shows you the very practical reasons. For regular Brazilians, this is an everyday financial tool. They're using them to protect their savings from the ups and downs of their local currency, the real. They're using them to send money to other countries more cheaply, and yeah, to provide liquidity for trading. This is real-world finance.
Okay, so that's the economic picture. Now let's dive into the legal showdown, because the industry's argument isn't just about the money. They truly believe what the government is trying to do here is just flat out illegal. So, the big question is this even legal? Well, if you ask anyone in the crypto industry, the answer is a hard no. And their case isn't just some emotional appeal. It's based on a really careful reading of Brazil's own laws.
The whole debate really centers on this one specific tax, the IOF. Think of it as a federal tax on financial operations. And this is the important part. It includes foreign currency exchanges. The government's idea is to basically just stretch that definition to also cover stablecoins. And here's the legal line in the sand. This is the absolute key to their whole argument. On one side, you have the IOF tax, which the Constitution says applies to fiat currency. But then, on the other side, you have Brazil's very own virtual assets law, which explicitly states that virtual assets are not fiat currency. Legally speaking, they are two totally different things.
And this quote from that joint industry statement just nails their position perfectly. They're saying, look, you can't just use a simple decree or a rule to apply a tax meant for one thing, fiat currency, to a completely separate legal category. They argue that to do that, you'd be breaking the law. It's as simple as that.
But you know, this isn't just some abstract legal fight happening in a courtroom. Beyond the legal technicalities, the industry is also raising a huge red flag about the potential economic damage this could cause for one of Brazil's most exciting tech sectors.
Their main economic point is simple. They see this tax as a giant brake pedal being slammed on an engine of innovation that's just starting to hit its stride. They believe it would discourage the very activity that has turned Brazil into a global leader in this space.
And when you really break down their worries, it comes down to a few key things. They're afraid this tax will kill growth, scare off investors, and in the end, make Brazil way less competitive on the world stage. They're quick to point out that you don't really see this kind of tax in other major economies, which could put Brazil at a big disadvantage.
So where does this leave Brazil? Well, pretty much in a major crossroads. The decision they make here isn't just going to affect the tax spreadsheet. It could very well shape the future of the country's entire digital economy.
And really, what you should take away from this is that this is a classic story, right? We see it with almost every new technology. It's that constant push and pull between a government's need to regulate and collect taxes and an industry's need for the freedom to just grow and innovate.
Whatever happens in Brazil could set a huge precedent for other countries that are watching this very closely. And it leaves all of us with a really crucial question for the digital age. How do you tax the future without accidentally strangling it in the crib? The answer is anything but simple.